It's a great community, great infrastructure, 2 interstates and the commuter rail, able to attract the engineering talent.
Town of Westborough, I think they've come to trust us in the way that we put our projects together.
The value of working with Atlantic Management is the expertise. There's never any doubt about commitment. They really do think about how this can be to everyone's benefit.
It's a very pleasant experience driving by them. It all just feels very natural and doesn't feel like it was forced into these places at all.
The buildings themselves are all sort of sister buildings. There's a continuity, and at the same time there's variability and a little bit of interest.
How do we explore 500 feet of facade with really simple windows and make it something more than you would expect?
So,
what is the Otis Street project?
Sure, okay. So the Otis Street project overall, essentially 3 buildings. The original project was 50 Otis Street, which was the AstraZeneca pharmaceutical manufacturing facility. We redeveloped that project for Amazon Robotics.
We did some graphics early on just to kind of wrap our heads around how big this building really was. You could actually park 4 747s inside this building, just trying to wrap our heads around the magnitude.
The next project was 64 Otis Street, much more kind of a classic distribution facility, although it is a little different in that it's car-centric delivery versus truck-centric delivery. Final piece, the one in the middle, was 54 Otis Street, and the tenant there is Amazon Go. So the total of all 3 is approximately 105 acres. Neighbors use this property to walk their dogs, and we wanted to maintain a trail system.
As you can see walking around, the site just has a great flow to it.
Planning and permitting are really the first step of any design project.
Many projects at SMMA, we bring an expertise in permitting. There are a couple of core permitting concepts: state highway access permit, town permits, zoning, site plan requirements, the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Planning Board, the Conservation Commission, wetlands. Permitting is making sure that the town codes have been addressed in a public forum. Then the boards can issue a decision, then issue their building permit.
The 64 Otis Street building itself, surrounded to the south and west by natural wetland system, and the state of Massachusetts has a 100-foot buffer associated with those wetlands from the edge of the wetland upland.
64 was kind of a much more interesting challenge. Firstly, the site had a history of lead contamination, skeet shooting of all things. Important challenge for us was really clean the wetland, remove the contaminated soil, and then build a replicated wetland on the property. I would say a very fulfilling part of the project. The wood frogs and salamanders are doing their thing, and the wetland is established.
Not a single tree had to be cleared to create this, which was pretty unique. We were able to respect and stay out of those 100-foot buffers around the entire perimeter of the site, which we're very proud of for such a large development.
We had a really simple idea: 3 large buildings, fuse them with really strong design ideas.
I have to give Michael credit for those panels. They give it some life.
There's a gradient from gray to white, this idea of as things get closer to the horizon, they get lighter. Notice at 50 Otis Street, there's a really welcoming wood-clad entry pavilion at the corner. This is where all the employees come in for the day. As you approach, it really envelops you.
So these metal panel buildings, they look very simple from the outside, but the actual composition of them is very different. They're very efficient buildings. They're tightly assembled. They go up very quickly. Everything is in there: the enclosure, the insulation, the air sealing, out of the box. These buildings perform really well.
We designed a stormwater system that collected a drop of water from virtually every square inch of the building roof and parking lot, routed it all to a very large subsurface stormwater system, 10 swimming pools, all under the front parking lot.
These buildings are going to be fantastic photovoltaic platforms for the future. It's essentially an energy plant waiting to happen. This building can meet the challenges of that future landscape, whatever it is. For me personally, I like the challenges. Adds to the interest of a project.
We were really about crafting these buildings, making sure each one was both functional and beautiful.
Greatest benefit of all is having the integrated architecture, the civil engineering, MEP, and landscape architecture. SMMA has been fortunate enough to work with Atlantic Management for just about 20 years. They are a wonderful team to work with.
It was a good feeling knowing that we'd do everything we could do to get this job done right.